Hi, Michel.
Hi.
With a Y, we are slowly coming to the end of our alphabet. Y stands for yesterday, so let's talk about that today. Specifically, I'd like to come back to your comment on the short text that philosopher Immanuel Kant published in 1784 in response to the question, what is enlightenment? The somewhat surprising formula into which you translate this answer is, what difference does today introduce with respect to yesterday?
That's right. Kant's answer was actually enlightenment is the exit of man from his self-incurred immaturity. Now, what crucially interested me about this was his use of the word exit, in German Ausgang. Obviously, this is about saying goodbye to a past, ending an earlier period, renouncing familiar ways of thinking. This is why, in this text, we also sense Kant's orientation towards the present, towards the actuality of events. In other words, Kant's philosophical thinking attempts to reflect on its own present in this text.
This is also why Kant speaks of critique. But perhaps this does not simply mean a critique of the present in today's sense, but rather a systematic determination of the degrees of freedom of our reason, our thinking, and our judgment. Kant is trying to cast off the shackles that still bind us to earlier opinions and convictions, to the past, to the yesterday.
Um, in my reading, this is a decisive moment of modernity. In a way, Kant's short text is located at the crossroads of critical reflection and reflection on history. It is a reflection by Kant on the contemporary status of his own enterprise. Now, this becomes also clear from the fact that he published his text in a popular monthly magazine. So his text is not an academic text, if you like.
But Kant doesn't actually talk about history in it.
At least not directly. His primary topic is a mode of relating to contemporary reality, a voluntary choice made by certain people. In the end, a way of thinking and feeling, a way, too, of acting and behaving that at one and the same time marks a relation of belonging and presents itself as a task. So, what is at stake here is an ethos of modernity. Modernity is understood here as an attitude rather than an epoch.
And the history, the yesterday?
Well, modernity is about something like a permanent critique of our historical era. Enlightenment should therefore be understood as an attitude, as a philosophical life in which the critique of what we are is at one and the same time the historical analysis of the limits imposed on us and an experiment with the possibility of going beyond them.
A critical historiography that draws its themes and problems from current events, from the here and now, not from the yesterday.
In any case, not a comforting game of recognition, but rather the profiling of the difference between today and yesterday in order to better understand the historical reality of our immaturity, but also the possibilities for freedom contained within it. We proceed by means of a historically twisted Kant, if you like, with a patient labor giving form to our impatience for liberty.
Thank you, Michel, for today.
And for yesterday.